Hello, my dear ones. Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure to sit down and talk with you. You know, I love the fact how many of you are getting well. You know, it's so exciting to see those of you that have suffered so long get out of suffering. It's just so rewarding to see that, but you see how simple it is when you understand really what man's problem is. He's been swimming and basking in the wrong chemistry. And all we had to do was understand the two sides of chemistry. Simply understand that most metabolitic wastes of the human body are acids. That there are acid-forming foods and there are alkaline-forming foods. There's only two sides of chemistry. You can play this game of diseases till the cows come home, but it's hurt and killed so many people. And the theory has no beginning or ending. Because when you don't understand anything, it's easy to say, well, I don't understand the symptoms. That's all symptoms. Chase the symptoms of every what they call disease, and it'll track you right back to the tissue involved, and you will always find an underlying acidosis. The word for that is inflammation. So you'll always find an underlying inflammation. But the inflammation, remember, inflammation is your own body's immune response. Right? Inflammation, even though it sounds like something is causing inflammation is an immune response by your body with histamines. That's where you see the red or the interleukins. However, this immune response dives much deeper than the allopathic community ever dreamt of. Now, there are some great universities out there that have discovered the calcium buffering system, not just the bicarbonate system. That there is, and what they got to understand, there's also a cholesterol buffering system. That buffering system is called the lymphatic system. But everybody gets lipid deposits, not everybody, but a lot of people get lipid deposits. I've seen people or dragons, what we call dragon arms, where they do it like this, hump after hump after hump, all lipids. Just remember that under the acid sky, when you move your body from what is supposed to be a dominant alkaline chemistry mix into a dominant acid chemistry mix, you've changed the whole scenario from health to decay. That's simple. And all you did was change the type of food you ate. What is food for one species is not food for another species. And we're not billy goats. So we've been putting in the acid side of chemistry. Medical doctors have been treating with the acid side of chemistry. Everybody's playing on the acid side of chemistry and wonder why they're getting burnt. And you have to look no further than that. Your lifestyle, whether it's your cells in the human body that's down genetically, your fluids are backed up in the human body, your uncontrollable emotional states or a lack of control emotional states, lack of control of the mind and thoughts. All of these things you're here to conquer. Each one of these things, even the diets, play a great role in your awareness. Look at the difference, you guys, between the fruit and the other foods, how it changes your awareness. Many of you have commented on that. And of course, I've experienced it firsthand, and so has a lot of people. It takes you from a more aggressive to more passive. It ignites the upper chakras, the upper crown chakra. Fruits pulls the energy away from the lower centers and ignites the higher centers. You're polarizing yourself magnetically to the higher forces. When you look at this spiritually, this is why you see a growth or a need to understand more of who you are, where you came from, as opposed to the drama of days of our lives on this little planet and stuck in nowhere land. Because as long as they keep trying to find the beginning and the end, it's what NASA's finally realizing. There is no beginning and there is no end. Scriptures of all types have described this, because you can't describe the all in the all, the infinite, the omnipresent, omnipotent, omniscient. You can't describe that, because the mind can't conceive something that's total, because it works fractionally. It works in fractional thoughts and that sort of thing. Excuse me. So, you always pull back to who you are in consciousness. Anyway, just remember how simple it is to change your diet. Now, so many of you are advanced in the states of acidosis, and sometimes you have to go slower in these higher states because your body has been filled with chemicals, antibiotics. You have no bacteria in the body that's helpful to you. I mean, there's so many things that are down in humans because of allopathic thinking. And it's like, well, here's a good example. I was doing a protocol for one lady, and she's coughing up. They claim she's had pneumonia a couple times. Gave her antibiotics for it. But the problem is she's coughing up mucus with blood in it. So these jokers, they don't have, when you start doing that, you're highly inflamed interstitially in the lungs. You want to get to that. Because the next thing is you start converting your cells, whether it's lung, whether it's liver, whether it's heart, doesn't matter the location. It's a natural phenomena from wellness through the acute, subacute, chronic, and then to the degenerative, or what they loosely call the cancer, at the cellular level. And it's easy to deal with that in the initial stages. What is disheartening is those that have been diagnosed with this because they see the tumors or the hardness or whatever, and then they're in a long treatment-based thinking because of their fears, and it just takes them from halfway healthy into Hellville. And then, well, we tried. Nothing we could do. Your cancer was too aggressive. Oh, really? See, they lay these things on you. That's what's easy. Why the term diseases. I can use the term disease. Hey, you caught it. You're it's not you. It's nothing you're doing. You caught this, and I'll try to help you fight this off. That's all stupid stuff. There's a cause for every effect. Cause and effect rules, and if you don't look at that, then you're missing out on truth and spirituality. Whether you call it karma, whether you call it you reap what you sow, basically cause and effect. So if you want a good effect, create a good cause. You know what I mean? But we had fun at the iridology class, and then I think we're going to set up roundtables in January. If any of you are interested in it, we have a big lack of understanding protocols. So I want to take 3 days and literally shove protocols you know where. So you guys understand and can pop, get it right off. You got a case, pop. And you don't have to worry with fear that you're doing something wrong or that you're not addressing this or addressing that. Those that have been to level 1 could definitely use more. Those that have been to level 2 could actually come back and do more. And I'm going to fit this one right in between level 1. This will be your level 2. It'll be roundtables, and everybody's going to work together. It's going to be fun stuff. I love these roundtables. I've only done a few of them. Well, the first classes that I've done, probably the first 10 years, maybe 12 years, were roundtable type classes. But they were small enough we could do that. Now that we're really big, it's hard to do these, but we found a way that we're going to do the round tables and limit the class and have some fun there. And then we'll do our iridology one. That way we can expand it even more. Exciting. And then iridology is going up online. I'm going to expand it quite a bit and put it up on an online course. Because there's not one like ours. Ours is, you have to, when you understand the lymphatic system and then you move over to iridology and learn how the eyes expose the lymph system, it changes iridology. It changes what you thought about iridology. And so it helps to understand more why eye colors change. It also helps you to understand lymph stagnation, how to identify it, how to identify possible tumors and cysts in the body. It's the lymph nodes are obvious. Remember the lymphatic rosary in the eye? So it's a more detailed look at the lymphatic system, but that's our group understands the lymphatic system much deeper than anyone else out there. which is our Savior, because if you don't understand the lymphatic system and these two sides of chemistry, you're kind of out there in the field wondering about how things are working. Just remember kitchen, bathroom. Two fluids that take care of the cells, kitchen, bathroom. So you got your inhabitants of the body, which is the cells, and the inhabitants have to eat and excrete or eliminate. So you have to have, since cells can't go to the bathroom, and since a cell in your liver can't get up and go to the kitchen when they're hungry or they go to the bathroom, cells have to be taken care of on site. That's why fluids flow. That's why there's spaces all around the cells. What's the spaces all around your cells called? Interstitial. That's all the spaces around all your cells. That's how we get the blood and the lymph through there to feed them and clean them. So feeding is the least of the problems. That's only 20% of the interstitial fluid. Why is 80% of that fluid lymph? Bigger job and a much bigger side of chemistry to deal with. So you would think the largest system in the human body would be understood by man, and it's the one that's the least understood. And it's what puts man at odds with trying to understand his health concerns. And it's just simply what he's been eating. Change what you eat, and you will change the outcome of the chemistry of your body, and you'll start seeing the acid side of chemistry disappearing. Pain, swelling, decay, atrophy, anything like Raynaud's, systemic inflammation as in fibromyalgia, lupus at Lyme's. They're playing with these little protein cofactors. It really doesn't matter what label you stick on it. Whenever you have pain all through your body, whether you call it arthur or any of the other lupuses and Lyme, it don't matter. They're all the same. It's systemic acidosis. You treat them the same, and your results will always be the same. You will overcome this. Now, some of you with the heavier lupuses and Lymes and arthritises, these are states where you've been using antibiotics or your mother and just literally eliminated your bacteria. So you have no way of dealing with systemic acids. So you fill these 3 pH acids full bore. This is why it's so devastating when you fill these 3 pH acids. Horrible. But there's a remedy. And it seems like only you guys can get it. It's only you can get your own remedy out there. But you should. You should realize that you yourself holds the key, the knowledge, the ability, the awareness to tackle this. All you need is people to give you the truth. And that's what we're here to do. And we got a lot of the masters helping, and so a lot of you are seeing all kinds of neat things. We had all kinds of psychic things. It was fun stuff. Even our little ones understand. All right, Andrew. My husband would like to know if there is a protocol for... Oh, that's right. I wanted to look this up. I want to look this up because I don't know what it is. It's a form of pneumonia. I don't know what kind you're talking about. But I can tell you this. No matter what location your problem is in, you will always find 2 factors involved, no matter what the name is given to it. Whether it's a spastic, I can't even tell you how tissues respond in the human body is different. You can have a scleroderma, but everything has this choking, agglomulation, packing up mucus, ripping of the cell apart. Those are acids. And every cell produces it. The irony of this whole thing is that man dies on his own systemic waste. Yeah, there's bad chemistry in the world, no question. And they love to give it to us. They just love to give it to us. This is how you can tell who's controlling the forces now, the negative forces. The ingestion of foreign chemistry is at all-time high. You can go to the store and get your kids these neon-colored drinks. Are you kidding? I mean, all this chemistry that man's consuming. Look at Coca-Cola and Pepsi, and look at all these 3. The very acids you're trying to get out of the body, you're drinking. Phosphoric, carbonic. You're taking in the acid you're trying to get rid of. You're eating acids and you're trying to get rid of them. Everything has acids, no question. So don't make me think of a blanket that acids are bad and bases are good, because estrogen's acidic, that's good. Testosterone's acidic, that's good. But when you run too high with that, and on top of the fact that you're highly acidic, that's when you get the bump. But they them of themselves are not acidic enough to destroy you like your systemic cellular acids, which are around 3. Estrogen and testosterone probably, I've never seen pHs of these, we've talked about this, but I'm sure we're somewhere around 4.5 to 5. So, a good probably 30 to 80 times cooler than systemic acids. So no matter what you see, no matter what the tissue's morphodizing in you, because we see this all the time, trust me, you can go like this again, and you want to, but you can't do it on cooked dead foods, animal proteins, and acid ash forming foods, grains, beans, dead animals, and their milks. You can't do it. You've got to eliminate that side of why does all the animals eat the fruit and the vegetables for? Only one animal really eats the dead meats, and that's going to be the lions, but they eat it raw. It's still electrical when it's raw, and they go for the gut in these antelopes up where there is pre-digested grass, which is amino acids, because they don't have the ability, their GI tract is smooth and short. In, out, or major putrefaction. They already sleep. Remember, lions already sleep 20 to 22 hours a day. This is why protein is not high in mother's milk of all the creatures. You just don't see that. That's not the side of chemistry that we need to be focusing on. Carbon is the side. And the negative forces are trying to go, carbon sugars are bad, proteins are good. It's the opposite. It's the opposite. The very word protein should give you See? But this is, you're not in the time of truth. You're in the time of the control of the negative forces. We're the ones trying to bring truth to that and bring the light into this darkness. And like I said at the seminar, each one of you that finds yourself out there in the darkness, so to speak, where you have no one around you with like-minded, your family's down on your butt, everything. Remember who is the light in this situation. You are. You're the light. Each and every one of you is put here to bring the light into the darkness. This is why you're tackling this level of thinking, this level of understanding. Because one, it brings you physical remedy, but it also opens your spiritual doors. And that's what this planet needs. So if you find yourself in a situation where no one around you believes what you say and your family's down on your case, remember who is the light. And that's what I mean about grabbing your power back. You be the light. You don't need approval of mommy. You don't need the approval of daddy. You don't need the approval of hubby or wife. You need the approval of yourself. You have to come to the realization that you're driving your own car, either consciously or unconsciously. And most humans on the planet are very unconscious. That's why we're trying to infuse some consciousness here. The suffering is sad, and especially in the youth. I've said this over and over again, and we read these and we're talking about the youth so much. Horrible. Diana. Hello, Dr. Morse, and the rest of you lovely folks. Thank you so much. We do have a good crew. I love everyone that works here. They're all so good. We have some new ones. I don't know them real well. Shipping always gets a bunch of new ones. I don't know them. And then up in the front staff, where we train everybody gets at the front. That's where we train everybody to talk to others. So that's where when you hire people, you don't always know who they are or anything about them. I am inquiring on behalf of my daughter who is 34. Oh, that puts you 50s? When she was 6 months old, she had an emergency operation. I was told by the surgeon it was called an interperception. Interperception? Never heard of that. Her intestines had wrapped around her appendix. Excuse me. They, along with a lot of the intestines, had become gangrenous. It is a miracle she lived. Yeah, absolutely. Holy crap. The sad thing, the good thing is we got some good surgeons out there. That's a good thing. That's medical. Medical is surgery, and ER, although you need to have some good naturopaths that understand life in the ERs with them, I can just tell you, been there, done that. understand the ER quite a bit. Spent so many years in emergency rooms, 3 different hospitals, 5 years, 30-hour, 36-hour, 40-hour shifts. So I'm pretty familiar with how that rocks. But you got to remember the state of our cells, and especially the youth here, are in serious trouble. And this is why it's so important that you guys get this, and you can help your kids, help yourself. So when you have folded intestines or intestines that are lost their connective tissue integrity, what might we want to be thinking about? Right? Connective tissue holds everything firm in place, right? What organ or gland do we need to think about when we're thinking about strengthening? You know, people that can pull their skin out and all that. So how do we have strengthened connective tissue? Parathyroid. Parathyroid glands. You got 4 of them. Parathyroid glands. Now, it's possible that a pituitary gland might be there as well. So remember all our discussions on the pituitary and its relationship to the other. And just remember, that's just the head gland. It can be down too, and then it makes everybody else down. Or it can be healthy and everybody's down by themselves. You have the thyroid because there's so much mucus or congestion in it. It doesn't perform well because it's congested. That sort of thing. Get the congestion out. Oh, I feel better. If you don't, it can turn into a what? Goiter. See, so that it's just all mucus and congestion and acidosis. The remedy is simple and right beside it. It's the other side of chemistry. Too hard for some to think about. So, this is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking this little girl, we need to be thinking, does she have growing pains or anything like that? See, I want you ladies to be thinking about that with your children. Growing pains, pains in the bones, things like that. Parathyroid. And look at the growth. If they're not growing, think of the pituitary. Get a picture of their eyes as soon as you can. You know, you ladies and your dads really can get a real big step up on this, because I'm going to tell you, until we can change this, and I don't know if we have friends in with the Trump thing, and we're trying to get a holistic czar going. So I'm just hoping that we can do that, because we fall under the FDA and under the allopath, and they don't understand us and they don't like us. Well, you know what? We should never fall under that type of scrutiny, because then we're always being scrutinized, evilized, and everything else, and it's going to stop. So we're going to work on this and try to get a holistic branch of the government set up. And so I'm working on it as best I can. We have people that are, like I said, are working up in the Trump administration. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. If anyone would do it, he would. I'm telling you. He knows more than you think he does. It is for about the last 10 or maybe more years, she has been okay, but with an extremely swollen belly and always feeling bloated. Yeah. See, here's the other thing. Interstitial. And this is what they don't get. Interstitial. So there's no question, honey. She's probably got kidneys and adrenals down. She's not filtering properly. Check her pee often. But I'm going to tell you, she's 34. This isn't good. I don't know if she's had children. She had postpartum syndromes or anything like this. But I would want you want to be looking at all that and going after your daughter in a big way that way. Kidneys, adrenals, the lymphatic system. Because the lymphatic system in the wall, this also suggests that she's malabsorbed. She could have sulfur. Look at her eyes. This is where and the more we can train you guys to look at the eyes and identify these places, you guys will rattle them off just like that, and everybody around you will be going, well, how do you know all that? Because we are magic. We're magic people. So absolutely find this very important, because this could lead to Crohn's, IBS, ulcerative colitis. You're talking about stagnation interstitially. That means around the cells of your sewer department. Imagine what that means. All right. So I'm sitting in the house, and we've got a bunch of people sitting around the living room, right, in their own chairs, and suddenly the toilet overflows, and suddenly the room becomes full of crap. And everybody's sitting in the chairs, and the crap are flowing all around you. That's inflammation. Now, I'm a cell, and I've got to eat, and I've got to poop. But I've got all this crap around me, this sewage around me, because I'm sitting in a chair and my house has got sewage now about 3 feet tall. Pretty soon I no longer can eat or eliminate my waste, and that's when you start seeing the morphology of a cell change. That's these protein markers. Bull. This is the attachment of acids onto cells. This is the whole 9 yards of what's going on, and as the cell weakens, it actually attaches more to invoke an immune response, because something has to start removing these cells. Well, wait a minute. The pathway of removal is blocked. I got the wrecker. I've got the emergency crew coming to take this cell out of here because it's been damaged, and I need to get rid of it before it influences the other ones a little bit. So we need to. Well, wait. I can't even get the wrecking truck. I can't even get the lymphocytes to the cells because my lymph nodes are hard and full. My lymph system's backed up, and it's just going to be a raging bull there. A raging bull. That's what they call cancer. It's not a disease, it's a raging bull of acidosis. Open this doorway, hydrate, get rid of this accumulation, this cationic environment, hydrate, and get this kidneys and skin filtering. And this, as time opens, this thing will open up, everything backs down. If cells are atypical, they'll convert back. Everything starts then enhancing energy, fluidity, everything else. And that is the only way to achieve a state of wellness. If you treat your symptoms, you'll never get there. All these supplements people are taking, the magnesiums, you're going to push your calciums out even more doing this. You don't want to play with minerals. It doesn't need it. There's nowhere you can go with it. But you can get to Wellville understanding the truth of it all. And we need to drive our cars there. And your daughter here needs to work on herself aggressively, because I'm amazed she's 34. I have not had any serious GI tract problems. All right. And this is MAJA. And this is high fevers in children. First of all, big hug. Oh, okay, I'll take it. I like big hugs. Thank you for the wonderful... Oh, you are, and everything you do for... Oh, you're welcome. She gave me a big heart. That's pretty cool. Well, I can tell you before I read on, I've detoxed a lot of children in my life. And I don't care if they're 2 or 5, they love these friggin' high fevers. They go into 104, 105 all the time. Remember, supposedly cancer cells, because they're already mutated cells, can die at around 109, normal cells about 111. But I tell you what, the real issue, of course, in fevers is dehydration and everything else. But you have to understand that fevers are essential, and you don't want to stop them. If you can't get them, it's your thyroid gland. And you want to be able to get them because that's how everything is dilated and everything opens up. And it always takes in what? Elimination. This is part of detoxification, is fevers, because which is the largest eliminative organ of your body? The largest eliminative organ of your body. The skin, the integumentary system. And this is part of the big part of the lymphatic system. Look at Raynaud's and some of these others talking about subcutaneous acidosis and what it does to your arteries, but also anything else like that, to your nervous systems and stuff like this. Remember your 3 energy flows of blood, nerve, and lymph. And lymph, when it backs up, shuts down blood and nerve. It's just, and that's what you see all the time. By understanding this, going back to a hydrating type of diet that keeps the fluids fluid and things filtering and everything right, then wellness is achieved. But remember, the largest eliminative organ you have. Fevers are essential. The skin is essential to sweat. When you're in trouble, you want to sweat your butt off and you want to filter in your kidneys. You get those things accomplished, it's just a matter of time the wellness comes in. But I recommend you cool them down to 103, but you don't want to get them too down. You know, St. Joe's is a not-for-profit hospital. And I spent a lot of years, I really like St. Joe's and care better. But I can't remember where I was going with that. Dang it. That flew out the door. But, I would see these little children coming in the ER with 99-degree temperature, which is nothing, honey. Nothing. And the ER doc give them a little Tylenol antibiotic and send them home. That's where it starts. That's the start of the suppression of the acute stages of disease, acidosis, lymph stagnation, whatever you want to call it. I would love for you to talk on high fevers in children. How high? Yeah. In other words, they go about 104, 105. Some could creep, but I would try to keep them cooler with a cold wash rag nap of the neck, maybe a little cool tub. But their body's going to want to keep going it up there, so don't freak out too much. Definitely keep fluids going. There's no question about that. Fruit juices, because that's what we want. We want to astringe. We want to affect the kidneys and get them filtering. The little baby or the child or whoever needs to sweat. So very important. And you're going to see a lot of this coming because cold and flu-like symptoms is the doorway of eliminating acute manifestations. And then in your bronchitis and your pneumonias, that's in the acute, subacute levels right in there, and that's pulling out all this mucus. The problem with allopathy is they see it as that you're catching something instead of eliminating something. And as long as you think and looking for, because remember, pneumonia was blamed on pneumococcus. So pneumonia was pneumococcus. The problem in 40 to 50% of the cases of pneumonia, pneumococcus wasn't even present. So they got away with that for a lot of years so they could treat with antibiotics and everything, which suppresses, and then pneumonia feels like it goes away, and you go home, and a few years later, here's another bout, and it's even deeper because you suppressed the first bout, you never let your body clean itself, and you kept doing the same diet, same mucus-forming foods, everything the same, and then, of course, here we go, everything's deeper, and now and then pretty soon you have a mass diagnosis with the mass in the lungs. Well, how did that get there? Couldn't have been allopathy started this a long time ago by suppressing and not understanding the truth and how you're creating these things and helping you through that. Well, that's what the naturopaths of the future need to learn and need to get online with, or you guys are going down too. Because you're recommending high proteins, you lost your spirituality if you ever had any. Naturopaths, in my opinion, should have some degree of spirituality connected with them. Because they're rubbing noses with the divine. They're rubbing noses with all of life. Because you're using life to correct life. You're not using man-made things, and that's the problem with schools of naturopathy right now. They're not schools of naturopathy. They're schools of naturopathic medicine. Oxymoron. But again, it's allopathic clinging to things that there's some truth in there, and they know it, but they can't let it go. They're going to control it and own it. You won't be long and you'll hear medical doctors saying they found the kidney filtration, they found the detox. Oh yeah, that's classic. How high and how long is it safe for it to run its course? I would think you're only going to see high fevers, especially if you're doing the juices only for 2 or 3 days. I would definitely keep the juices going down and keep them cooled down to about 103, 104, somewhere in that, and get them through that. Mm-hmm. But they need to eliminate, and they're going to be eliminating coughing up like they got pneumonia and stuff like that. Things that can help them are kidney formulas, and these are real safe for all levels of children. Kidney formulas, endocrine gland formulas, lung, breaks up mucus. You can put a little 3-lung tea in their bottles. That helps to break up hardened mucus. Things like that. You don't have to give them lymphatic formulas. The fruit will act as a lymphatic formula. But go after the kidneys. Go after the endocrine glands. I'm talking about babies. Or you could just do 1 drop of lymphatic 1. Mm-hmm. Help to inspire better kidney performance. But those are the sort of things you want to go after. Definitely put them on fruits and stuff because they're trying to open the doors. The fact that your children can get fevers is a good sign, in my opinion. But very much a part of detox, very important to have, and allopathy wants to suppress them. That is extreme ignorance and very dangerous practice. That's why you see all the kids with all the skin problems. Their parents have been suppressed with thyroid functions and everything else, and pretty soon, genetics, and pretty soon, where the young youth can't sweat, can't do anything, can't filter, can't do anything. And it's all the older people's fault. We were heads buried in the sand. I have a 2.5-year-old daughter. she would rarely get sick, and when she does, it's just a runny nose with a low-grade fever up to 102. Yeah, it's nothing. Matter of fact, you're lucky. And you want to keep running her with fruit and stuff and get this cleaned out till she'll never have it. You know, if you don't put mucus-forming foods in the body and acid ash-forming foods in the body, you don't get sick. I never get sick. I never have that. Sometimes I'm pulling mucus out of me by, digging a little deeper, but, and I do eat bad once in a while. I had Indian food last week twice. I was a bad boy. But they were gone a week, and I was like, oh, I like Indian food once a week. I like the vegetable korma. I like the paneers, matar paneer. But, we pay prices for those. But this is nice. Never needs med. What do you need a med for? That's the thing. We don't need medications. That's ridiculous. There's plenty of botanicals to help any child for anything, and it works with their natural rhythms of the body, the natural rhythms of God, the natural rhythms of nature. I mean, she never had meds, and I never gave her fever reducers. Good mother. That's all I got to say. Good mother.
Give me a Y, give me an E, give me an F. Yeah!
A few months back, we started a detox protocol along with herbs. Working with Patty, my main concern is that she is thinner than most kids her age and very slow gains weight. All right. So, again, you could have a case of malabsorption here. She's 2.5. If you can get a picture here with a photograph somehow and send them in, we can look at them. But I'm going to say, take a look at those eye pics of hers and see what's going on lymphatically and with the GI tract and kidneys and all that. I mean, this is how you look at your kids. What do we got going genetically and everything else? And they're going to be you and your donor. I mean, they're your babies. You're going to be mostly mama and then some of dad and maybe some of grandma and grandpa. Okay, her eyes are really dark brown, so I cannot take a good photo at this moment. Yeah, darn. Really dark brown, huh? What color were they at birth? Light brown or... But according to my eyes, I have lymph stagnation all over than she does. I can just tell you. That's why they're so dark brown, probably a chronic level of lymph stagnation in her already. No, it's one thing... Well, we just have to get this world up to speed with what we know, don't we? But mamas give our babies, the babies the lymph systems. Because remember, your baby is connected to your lymphatic and eliminative organs. Your baby eliminates through your elimination. And if you're not eliminating, if you're not filtering, then the baby's not filtering. See what I'm saying? And that's how you understand why we're having so much trouble in our kids. It's not like you get a brand new body, your lymph is clean, and everything starts from the get-go. Don't you wish? But according to my, so probably she does too. Absolutely. I was tall till 7th grade, and I have stopped growing. Okay, so you want to take a look at, see if you have a pituitary, because you just might see this. This might be a time to give her the endocrine gland formula, a kidney formula. If you want to give her a little more boost, maybe a couple drops of an adrenal formula on top of the endocrine gland formula. If you really want to make your baby smart and aware, a drop or two of upper circuit, brain, and nerve. I would do that for sure. And work with that. Maybe 1 drop of lymph node 1 or lymphatic 1, that sort of thing. And just work with her slowly with the fruits and everything. She's going to come clean. But you want to take a look at her endocrine glands. The same height since 5'4". So the mother's 5'4", definitely pituitary. So you can see growth problems in your daughter. You might want to take these herbs now and let her grow, because that's the problem. When pediatricians see growth, they don't have a clue. So then if you're on a raw food diet, it's a raw foods, all right? Really? Well, tell me which food's superior. And you show me chemically and electrically how that is. They can't. They don't have the awareness to do that. So it's just like, that's better than your cooked milks, which you lose the enzymes to digest milk after age 2 anyway. So why would you be digesting milk after age 2? You can't do it anymore. And even if you get them till then, your body goes through changes like that. So you don't have the enzymes anymore. That's why they try to take the lactase out. They say lactase free. Well, that's your enzymes you need for breaking down your milk sugars and stuff. I don't know why they do that stuff. And when you pasteurize it, of course, that's it. You go from an alkaline ash to an acid ash food. So already you're giving me some hints there. So you also want to think about the endocrine because of her parathyroid and stuff. You want your baby growing properly and healthily. So this is smart of you to work on this because she could have malabsorption. Your lymph system's backed up that bad. It's backed up interstitially in the intestinal wall too, for sure. That seems to be the first place it does it. So, big deal here. And she could be malabsorbed. They have no clue when you say malabsorption what that means. They have no clue. You're talking to the wall. So, you ladies and guys, dads and moms have to protect your own children because if you get trapped in that insanity, they generally hurt your kids. So, it's just not good. My brother's super tossing. Yep. 6'4". Yep. You got a pituitary family, honey. So, work on that. Work on that because yours are probably getting chronic by now. So you want to work on that. On her dad's side, they used to be teeny when little. Yep. And, a little thymus thumping once in a while. Doesn't hurt to get the thymus moving good. He grew tall, 6'1", and her aunt not so much. So you see, differences in that, but it's a lot of pituitary in here. Just a lot of pituitary, which then brings us in mind to the other ones. Thyroid, parathyroid, adrenals. Notice there's only so many endocrine glands. So don't let them confuse you. There's only a few. Get a anatomy physiology for idiots or something and just read it. Just for the fun of it. Sit out on the porch or out in the sun and read it. And understand just a few of the organs. Organs are controlled by the glands. The organs work, the glands control. Basically. So good, you're giving me a lot of good information, and this is definitely. So I'm going to say with this information, I'd be working on a pituitary, but I think I would do it through the endocrine gland formula right now. It's safe, it's a nice, gentle, easy one. You're not hitting her too hard with the pituitary, so you might want to work with that. Question here: if this weakness runs few generations before, is it possible? Oh yeah. But you have to get to the tissues involved. To have a pituitary down, you have to have a transverse bowel problem. Well, that's pretty classic. So really important to take a look at that and work with that with her. And regeneration's cool because when you can get a picture, you're gonna have to get a lot of light. Get a lot of light on her eyes. Maybe when she's sleeping or something. Big bright light and the camera real quick. But you got to work this out of her because this just means all kinds of problems for her life. Is she a female? Is that what we said? A little daughter? Yep. It could be monthly cycle problems, hysterectomy. I mean, it's just a long list of things. And then the skin problem. I mean, it's just a long list of barbaric symptoms that man does not have to go through. So yeah, you want to jump on it. Keep working with this. After then, to continue on the previous question, after 3 to 4 months detoxing, we went back to introducing some cooked, mainly vegan food. But why? I mean, the thing is, we can't always control ourselves, conditioning of the mind, that sort of thing, cop out. But you can control your kids. As long as you can control your kids, don't feed them cooked foods. There's no reason to. It's an inferior food. The chemistry is destroyed and agglomerated. The electricity is destroyed. Why feed them that? As long as you can get away with not feeding them cooked foods, you're giving them higher, superior foods. In every way. Every way. There's no way you can claim that cooking improves the quality and nutritional content of a food. It is polar opposite. You destroy it. And a lot of the foods you make it some foods you make it an acid ash forming foods, and others you make it even a greater acid ash forming food. Family is not supportive. Oh, I see why. Yeah, you know what? But woman warrior here, that's sad. It's going to make some woman warriors out of you ladies because you're going to have to fight the hubby and the parents and everything. It's like, why? It should be easy for everyone to understand that if you cook, you alter the chemistry and you don't make it better. There's nothing better about cooked foods over the counter raw. Show me what animal in nature cooks their food before they eat it. And we can show you by feeding wild animals cooked foods that'll make them sick and they get the same problems we do. Really? That's well documented. And domesticated animals get the same, we'll use the word diseases, that we do if they eat like we do. Well, wait a minute. Is there something wrong with this picture? Yeah. It's cold outside. It's probably 60 something now, but it's supposed to be in the 40s tomorrow morning. Brr! I'm moving south. Family is not supportive, so I have to balance things out. I get it, honey. Good mom. You know, do your best. Do your very best. Let your hubby look at some of these videos and stuff or something, because for any husband to not want to get their kids stronger and smarter and better, something wrong with them. And if you make a claim that allopathy has some secrets of vitality and youth, the theories don't pan out, guys. Sorry, there's no evidence of that anywhere in the world. There's thousands and thousands and tens of thousands of cases on our site. Evidence, tens of thousands of cases. Children that are in college and in like freshman high school and even younger. You've got. I was reading about a 9-year-old or something taking college courses. And she asked for their food, so it is a constant battle. Yeah, I know it, and that's sad too. I see that all the time. I was at a restaurant somewhere, can't remember, and had to get up and go to the bathroom. And there was this lady, and she had to be in her 20s, and she had a little 3 or 4-year-old there, and they were they were a table beside our group. And so I get up, and just as I'm passing her little son was reaching over, and she had a salad. She had a big salad in front of her. The little boy had hot dog and french fries in front of him, just to let you know. And the little boy, was reaching over trying to grab a tomato off of her plate. She smacked his hand, and I can't remember what his name was. Johnny, eat your hot dog and french fries. I stopped. I looked down at her. I bit my tongue, gave her a look, and I should have said, but I didn't, because I'm a little shy. You wouldn't know it. But I wanted to tell her so bad, honey, if you want that hot dog and french fry, you eat it. He wants your salad. Trying my best. Now, I believe that. And listen, ladies, you keep trying your best. It's worth it. And we'll back you 100%. Always. They have no proof or evidence. They're talking through their side of their mouths. Your parents, his parents, him, they don't have no evidence. The evidence is on our side, not their side. They don't know what to do with kids. They start them off, vaccinate them. You see what they want to do with it. One lady just had a baby, 3 days, heavy loaded vac. I forget, they're trying to load 5, 6, 7 vacs. Days, not weeks, days after birth. These guys are out of control. And if we don't stop them, they're going to destroy our children. These guys are out of control. Like, I would like to see, there is a neurosurgeon, supposed to be heavy into vaccines. There is Dr. Tenpenny. But where's their rally cry? They should be out there beating the band, websites, flashing lights. Stop killing our kids. Stop making our kids have ADD. Stop destroying our children. St. Jude. Just look at St. Jude's ballsy, brazen commercials now. If we don't stop them, there's no stopping these idiots. While they're killing our kids, I'm telling you, it's unreal what's going on out there. Just donate $19 a month. You know where they got that? They got that off of Wounded Warrior Project. So here's a beautiful Wounded Warrior Project. Now, St. Jude's picked up on that, and of course the Shriners. I'm for the Shriners Hospital as much as I know about them. I love any hospital that takes care of kids, but they take care of them the wrong way. She is now probably more sensitive to those foods that she get as she got sick, absolutely going to get more sensitive to those foods and more sensitive to those foods. Going to make her sicker and sicker and sicker. The problem with that, excuse me, the problem with that is that they won't understand it's their food that's causing this, and they'll take her to the ER and they'll give her antibiotics and whatever, and then goes the merry-go-round. Suppressed acute, now shoving subacute, lymph nodes swell, tumors form. I mean, it's just the friggin' same walk down the same road. Same walk, same road. That's why everything is like a record here. We're here to scratch that thing off and put a new record down there. Twice in 1 month with fevers of 102, 105. Yep, she's not doing well with this. Her body's trying to get rid of the congestion and the acids from the food. She never had this high. Exactly what's going on. She's getting healthier with you and unhealthier with them. She never had these high fevers before. This would last 3 to 4 days. Usually, that's what I'm saying, be careful, because they're going to keep getting her sick, and she's going to go, and here starts this insanity. Usually it goes too high, it would come right back down to 102, 103, but a few times it wouldn't, and she looked very miserable, absolutely. So cool her down, cold, back nap of the neck, cold here, alkaline, get her alkaline. Juices, fresh juices, get the kidneys filtering, get everything moving out of her, all these acids out of her, mucus out of her, or she's going to have some mucus discharge. And then, she clears up again. They just don't see that it's the foods they're giving her. And it's right in front of their face. That's how unconscious humans are. It's right in front of their face. But they're so busy thinking and desiring, they can't see it. It's right in front of their face. But a few times I wouldn't, and she looked very miserable, so I gave her Motrin. And the 4th day I gave in, and we started antibiotics. She was on the herbs all these days. We did essential oils, ear candling, vitamin C. She barely ate, mainly wanted water. If she would eat, it would be a smoothie. This is exactly how kids are. They want to detox. This is nature. Man has to get with nature. Honey, you're doing just what you need to do properly. You're the male of this, and it sounds like, and the family needs to get with this. This is how nature treats itself. Just what she's doing. And of course they went to the antibiotics and stuff, and it's like, are you serious? This even compromises her even more. The next time this will even be deeper. She'll last a week or 2 weeks. Fevers and stuff, harder to stop. All of this sort of thing. Then the skin starts breaking out. It's all just suppression. And it just, there goes the merry-go-round. There you go. Then you got your steroids, and then you've got your all your skin things. Don't know what to do anymore. Well, she's going to keep, as long as children and people keep eating this way, they will continue to keep having these symptoms. You don't have to worry what to do anymore, because there's only one way to correct this. And you're going to have to put your foot down sometime. Listen to me. I'm the mother. I know what's good. I study this. And I'll prove it. We have tens of thousands of children out there on the raw diets cleaning themselves up. They need to watch the videos and learn and open up and get educated, because they're taking your daughter down to Hellville here. And you can see it in her symptoms, getting longer, deeper. They kill all the bacteria. That even makes them deeper, longer, harder. See where it's going? Same merry-go-round as everyone else. Same thing, same allopathic bull crap. Same thing. Didn't know what to do anymore, and I got into the Western medical fear. Absolutely. And it's a fear. They make it a fear, and it's like, you dumbasses, there's no fear about it. You're seeing cause and effect. Wake up. After 2 weeks there, she is in with the same symptoms and high fever again, this time also taking oregano oil and silver water. Yeah, don't go there. Don't go there with the silver water. No. Don't go there with the colloidal silver. You don't use minerals to go after fungus and things like this. No, no, no. Put her on a fruit detox. Go after her kidneys, adrenals, the lymph. The detox are how you know, sweetheart. You're the one that knows the truth. You're dealing with people that are ignorant. And choose to remain that way, even though you're trying to educate them, and there's nothing you can do. When they get in trouble, let's see what happens with them. So how to detox her safe in these situations? There's only one way to detox. And you're going to see her eliminate when she detoxes. Unless you want to go real slow and try to do some green drinks instead of fruits and play that game. But I'm going to tell you, her little body's in control of this, not us. Are antibiotics sometimes not avoidable? No, they're avoidable all times. I mean, if you get a raging bull here in a tooth, yeah, maybe. But you run extreme risk of killing your bacteria in your lymph nodes. And once you do that, brother, you're in trouble. Now you have no way to break down 3 pH to get it up to 6. So you suffer more and more pain. And then, of course, it slams the kidneys. Sulfa drugs slams the digestive system, slams the body. Of course, antibiotics makes for more fungus because you ever notice that a lot of women get yeast infections after antibiotic? Of course, it enhances fungal growth. So now the little baby has fungus in them more there, and then their tongue. I mean, it's a never-ending story with those guys. Sometimes man's got to wake up and take a look what's going on, so they'll go, oh my God, look what we've been doing. I know this is a long post. I wanted you to get the whole picture, but it's not that long, and I tell you, it was an important post. Much love from a worried mom, and I don't blame this mother. Here's a hug to you, honey. I get it. And now that you guys are waking up, you're getting it. And now you'll see things that's not too pleasurable. And this mother's trapped in one, a common one. And it's sad that the people around us, that's what I'm saying to you earlier. Each one of you is the divine light. As you learn truth and you open up your consciousness to truth and reality, you become a major light bulb to this world. Whether anyone around you understands it or not, who cares? Be strong. It's going to test your strength. But that's what? The meek shall inherit the earth. Enjoy it. It is heavily laden with materiality and karma and unhappiness. Those that open up will reap the benefits of joy and ecstasy and love. So you be strong, warrior woman, mom, because it's your baby. You went through all the trouble of having it. You might have had a donor, but you're the one that rode the ride, and you deserve to have the predominance of the say. And these people need to open up and become awake, or their lives are miserable too. And then when they wake up to cancer or something, it's like, oh well, I've been telling you, but you weren't awake enough to listen. But on the other side of this, you can't blame them because they're unconscious. It's just God playing the games again, remember. They're just unconscious. It's not a pretty thing to be unconscious, is it? No. And we're all unconscious at levels. We're all unconscious at levels. You can't, it's impossible not to be. You could not handle the intensity of it. Let me tell you. Powerful. So, always wake up to truth. Always keep your consciousness open. Work with stop thinking. That's where they've trapped everybody. All these conditioned states of thinking. Go read a book, write the same type of thinking. How about exploring truth? We're beings, we have consciousness. The world of truth can be explored. How does people write books? Where do they get the awareness to write a book from? Where did Tesla? Where did Thomas Edison? Very famous when you go down to Fort Myers here to Thomas Edison's home. Has his little cot, his little out of body, and then of course the what is it? ARE? What is that? Edgar Casey group, heavily into that level of thinking. You know, where you use that. You listen and you get your answers that way. Some can consciously visit the lower mind, the Akashic records, the library as I call it. But that's where the wisdoms are. They're not found in books here. That's wisdoms from other people. Yeah, you can read where we are, but you are where we are in consciousness already. You just don't realize that. You're here to go on and to wrap up some most stuff from the past.
Yes.
Good evening, Robert Morse. This is Shirley. Shirley, my dear. Shirley, you say. I am not very familiar with you. Well, it's good morning right now. It's good cold morning right now. But I was referred by a person who replied to a statement I made on a Facebook post regarding the cures for diseases. Discussion on how the cures are forthcoming due to the financial gain that so many investors have in the research, sales, and treatment of these diseases. No shit. Pardon my French. But this is a major, major, major problem. Wrong focus. And yet you have so many people investing their monies and things in that at the very hope and clinging to a possible cure. Look at the, excuse me, get out of there. Look at the stock market of some of these pharmaceutical companies. When they just think, you know, their stocks go down, they suddenly, oh, we're right on the verge of... See, you can never find a cure medically because it's the wrong theories, the wrong focus. And as long as you're in the wrong theories and the wrong focus, how could you find a cure to that? That's why it goes year after year. More research is needed. More money poured into the American Cancer Society, St. Jude's, Slaughterhouse, throwing up, send us money. We need more money. Money, money, money. That's the negative forces, guys. You know the truth, and you're learning the truth, and you're applying the truth, and you're seeing the results. Applied theories that are truth gets truth results. You know, I'm not afraid of our results at all. Look at our results. We're proud of our results. That's where investors need to move. Then we can have healing centers. You're throwing money after bad money, or good money after bad, however you want to look at it. Sad. You know, there was a lady that donated like $10 million to the Miami Project, which is a spinal cord group. And it was after a football player that had a football injury and had became a quad. I think he's a quad or a pair out of that. Well, I was having reconnecting all over the place. And they just used stand-aid devices and crap like that, and I couldn't even afford a stand-aid device. That was only like $500-600. I still couldn't afford it at the time. That's how poor. But if you're going to use stand-aid devices, you better have something going in that's turning on the nervous system. You just have them making them a stand-aid. Look at Christopher Reeves. They just had him working with a stand-aid device. What are you going to do with that? See, that's a lot of ignorance and tissue regeneration. They're not even thinking because they don't even know. If you can't get it medically, how are you going to get it with a spinal cord group? So I called this lady up, very wealthy lady, and I told her about our cases and stuff, and she said, well, it sounds really good, but and I think it might have been $20 million she donated to him. And she said, but I've donated all I can now. So it was just a donation to a donation. It wasn't a donation to help anybody. It was a donation for tax write-off or whatever. That much money? Holy crap. And what we can do with a fraction of that, if we can stand it, and actually going into the electrical department of the body and turning it on and fixing it and repairing it, I mean, you got to understand. You guys have the answers to all of this, and it's exciting times for the planet, and we're going to be bumping these people out of the way, and they're just going to have to realize that investors need to start waking up and looking differently. Like the investor that came up to the YouTuber that's winning out there on upper circuit brain and nerve. She's winning so much, these investors are coming up to her saying, what's your edge? You're winning all the friggin' time here. Upper circuit brain and nerve, huh? Discussion on how the cures are not forthcoming due to the financial gain, which is true, but you've got to understand there will never be a cure anyway. There never will, because you can't cure treating symptoms that on diseases that don't exist. The symptoms are real, but it's easy to understand why the symptom is existing if you understand acidosis, you understand the lymphatic system, you understand a little bit how the body works, interstitial spaces, inflammation, and I'm going to teach you as much as I can. Now then it's easy for you to understand. Here's an example. I made a comment about my diabetes. I am type 1. My daughter, who has endometriosis, and my son has Tourette's syndrome. All right? Okay, so all of these are totally different, right? Here's a diabetic type 1, all right? Here's endometriosis, and here's Tourette's, all right? You know, Tourette's and the tics and all these things, all right? So, every one of these, believe it or not, has a connection to the great lymphatic system. How? All right, let's take diabetes, number 1. Now, this number 1, type 1, can be a neurological type 1 or what I call a beta cell or the islets of Langerhans, a weakness within that or acidosis, congestion within that. You're either looking at, when you're looking at a cell, you're looking at a weakness of a cell genetically, or you're looking at congestion, acidosis, inflammation of a cell. So, either one. I'll be right back with you. Sorry about that. I had to go talk to this lady, very depressed lady, very unhappy stuff. So the problem is I forgot where I was. Oh no! And so I got to take off and go to lunch. So what I thought I'd do is I'm coming right back. Oh, I know what we were doing. We were talking about this. Yeah. Okay, so we're talking about diabetes. All right, so I'm going to finish this up because we're talking about the type 1 diabetes. Again, can be neurological, meaning the nervous system, which would be the autonomic, is down in that area, creating a low production of insulin from the beta cells. That's a big deal. In today's world, you're going to see a lot of type 1s that are neurological type 1s, we call them. But when you go back and you ask, let's just say the beta cells are down, right? How did my beta cells go down? Let's assume you have no genetic weaknesses in them whatsoever. And if you want to assume they have genetic weaknesses, how did you get them? How do you affect the functionability of a cell? Remember, pathology, structure, function. How do you affect the functionability and the structure of a cell? Well, pull yourself back to there's only 2 sides of chemistry that rule this world. This world is ruled by chemistry, period. There's no voids. Everything is chemistry. So you have to go there. You have to come all the way back to the very beginning to start out. What side of chemistry is causing this? What system in my body's down? What system could grab the beta cells? What system could cause endometriosis? Well, endometriosis is very easy. That's easy for most people to understand. That's going to be your lymph system always. That's easy. But when you get to the beta cells and say disease, what they call type 1, we want to pull ourselves into the disease. And it's like there's no such thing. You might not be producing enough insulin or overproduction of insulin or whatever your case is. But it's not a disease. It's a cell function problem. These are all cell function problems. That's pathology. Structure, function. However, what's not understood in pathology is fluids and the chemistry thereof, unfortunately, because that's how you get to a cell. We talk about interstitial spaces. That's the spaces around all the cells. How do we get to a cell? How can a cell be damaged outside of trauma? You got to get to it through the pathways. Well, now you're right into chemistry. What kind of chemistries in these pathways that could affect the functionability of a cell? What kind of disease? That's crazy thinking. I mean, that's insanity thinking. And it's time men wake up from the idiocy of the whole concept of diseases. Remember, everything is science, everything is cause and effect, and pull back and trace it to the very beginning. Start with chemistry and work yourself down. Tourette's syndrome, all right? That's another thing. You guys want to check your vertebrae, but generally C2 is involved in Tourette's, but you want to check that. It's also trigeminal neuralgia is also involved, can be involved with that, the tics and everything, but I'll tell you what. We had a guy that had Tourette's really bad. I'm sorry, but he went over to, and I haven't heard from him in a lot of years. But he went over to Indonesia and got rid of his Tourette's and everything else. But he went full bore fruit, herbs, but even Drew has Tourette's. And when he's raw and everything's cleaning, he is less and less and less and less. Now you can hardly even tell it in him. Before it was constant. Now I haven't heard it in a long time. So all these things are tied to acidosis, the lymph system, whether it's connective tissue, whether it's tendons, whether it's the spine and out affecting nerves. It doesn't matter what it is. How do these things get out of place? How do these things break down? There's only two sides of chemistry. One is base, one is acid. Acids are in chemistry, read a chemistry, but corrosive. We use the term corrosiveness. Alkalis are not corrosive unless you go way to the polar end of there. 14 pH. Now that'll burn you pretty good. But all these common denominators are kidneys and adrenals and the lymphatic system. And every one of these, and even the type 1 has a common denominator, the adrenals, from what? Steroid production. And if it is a neurological type 1, also not only a steroid problem out of the adrenals, a neurotransmitter problem out of the adrenals. See where we're going? In my opinion is that all blood sugar problems always has a route through the adrenals, always, even type 1. The proof of that is type 1 is a lymphatic or a neurological weakness. Bam! That's the system. You can call it a disease and live in Moose Jaw, Alaska if you want, or you can fix it by fixing the cells or the nervous system too, or, that sort of thing. A man recommended I listen to you on YouTube, so I did listen to one video. I liked what I heard and want to know more. What do you recommend I listen to or read up on according to your philosophy in order to get the right track with these issues me and my 2 kids are dealing with? Yeah, definitely want to get a picture of your eyes, this will be fun with you because you can get a picture of your eyes, honey, get a picture of your 2 kids, see what you got, how your eyes look like theirs, what's the differences. If there's a donor involved, then take a picture of his and see what his eyes look like. And you can see who's got what and all that other kind of stuff. If the grandparents are still alive, take those pictures and you see the whole neat thing. You can map this out and have fun with this. This is make life fun. Make getting well fun. Even though you're in pain, maybe some of you, and not happy, make it so. Reach deep within yourself and grab yourself. Not your body, not your emotions, not your thoughts. Be with yourself. Enjoy that part that's eternal, that part you can't hurt, that part that is away from pain. I am very interested to learn more and will be investing more time to listen to more. Please do, Shirley Outlaw. That's her last name, Outlaw. Shirley Outlaw. Surely you're not an outlaw, Shirley. I like outlaws, though. Well, I've got to run, but I apologize. I had to communicate with this lady. What I'll do, since a lot of you don't like long videos, we'll shorten. So this will be a short one. I'll come back in and we'll do another one and we'll start all over again. Okay. And onward and upward. Yes. Love you guys. Good job, you guys. Proud of you guys. In every way.